Hey guys. Okay, finally. Yeah, as you can see, this is the last time I did this, and yeah, for some reason it didn't record and nobody could really get on. So it didn't work out for anybody. So I'm doing this over just so that we can go ahead and make sure everybody can see it. So I'm doing this via Facebook Live. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get this training going. Most of you know me, and most of you who do not know me, and that's quite okay. My name is Rosalind. I've been in this industry for, gosh, whew, quite a while, about 9, almost 10 years. But my motto has always been that once you admit you know nothing, then you can truly know everything. So for me to say I'm a guru and I know everything is just far from it. I just like to research. I just like to look up everything. So when I do share information, these are like proven things that people, including me, have made a ton of money from, like a ton of freaking fantastic money. And so with this, you're gonna definitely do some damage with. And most of you are wondering, like, why offline? I mean, there's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's Pinterest, there's Reddit, there's Quora, there's so many things that you can do online. Okay, that's great. You can tap into people who aren't even in your city, who aren't even in your state, or even in your country. There's people from the UK who are in here, and I found them through Facebook. Of course, yeah, fantastic, great. Facebook ads, Instagram ads, all of that we will dig into too. But I wanted to show you offline because not everybody is talking about offline. Like, there's no chatter about it whatsoever. So with offline marketing, you're like, well, why offline? Think about it for a second. When you go into, like, if you have a Costco and they do the samples and you taste those delicious treats that they have, you want to go back for more and you want to go in and actually buy the product. That's because not just from the fact that you taste it, see it, and feel it, but because that person, especially depending on if they are sweet or nice, 9 out of 10 times when you meet a person and you see them in your face, see them in the face, like in the flesh, you're going to want to talk to them. You're going to want, you're going to have more trusting bond than talking to somebody online. When you're offline, your face is your business card. Of course, you have business cards, flyers, and other things that we'll talk about too, but your face is your business card. And 7 seconds, you'll know whether you want to talk to that person or not, if you feel like dealing with their mess or not. I mean, it's true. Sometimes you can look at a person and you just like, man, I don't want to deal with them. Of course, a lot of people judge, and you may not admit it, but we do. That's what we tend to do. So with offline marketing, I'm going to show you how to literally market offline, but market in a way where you're not vomiting all over the person with all this information and they're like, oh, hell no, I'm good. I don't want to talk to you. And you're over here becoming a salesman without actually selling, without actually begging people and shoving things in their face and saying, here, take this, blah, 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 blah. So these are tips that I've used. I've made quite a few in the last business that I had that actually was tangible goods. And I did this for, like, for example, what we're doing now where it's all digital and, there's nothing that you're physically touching. And that's the majority of the businesses. So the overview is, what is offline marketing? Why use it? What are some methods? How to effectively approach people? How to sell without selling? That's like probably the biggest thing that you need to do. How to sell without selling is probably, like the big one. What the heck is form? Fast food, not McDonald's, and I'm not talking about going to McDonald's. I'm talking about fast food. How to give people information fast. So, remember that the first 2 times you talk to somebody, they won't get it. That's great. Don't worry about it. Your skill will improve over time. And one of the things I always tell people is that you literally cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. It doesn't matter. Sometimes you can give like the perfect pitch, have all of your ducks in a row, and that person's like, nah, I'm good, homie. Hey, you tell them thank you, we're good. So just so you know, I don't want you to get discouraged. Like, this is not working. Nah, try again. Always. You're in this game to fail, not just to win. So offline marketing is simply what you're doing online, but offline with a little twist. You're not, dropping into somebody's inbox, meaning popping up in somebody's face, saying either way, you shouldn't be doing this online either, but saying, hey, look, this is what I got, and like, don't do that. That's gross. That's vomiting on somebody, and you definitely don't want to do that, like, at all. So why use it? Simply because we're human. I mean, we're not online all the time. Majority of you, actually all of you, have a life. You have kids. You go to work. You go to the grocery store. You go to the park. Go to the beach, camping, concerts. You're not online all the time. Yes, you might have your phone on you and you might check on Facebook or whatever. Fantastic. But you are a human, so you're not on all the time. And most of the time you want to get away from online, and as you should. The human voice is one of the most powerful and effective tools that you ever will have, along with your face, of course. Your voice is powerful. You may not seem like it, but it is. Using the right words and the right tone can effectively get your point and message across. My mom, she's funny. She doesn't yell. She never yelled at us. She never so much as curse. But she has a way to get her point across. And what she does is enunciate. When my mom starts enunciating, that's how we know that she's upset, that something we did was bad, or whatever. She changed her tone immediately. She started enunciating every single letter, just like that. And her tone would get very fierce and very sharp. And that's how I knew she was upset. She didn't yell, she didn't cuss, she didn't spank, she didn't do nothing. And that's how we knew, okay, we need to stop. And then next minute, she's singing, happy, joyful, everything else. That right there is more powerful than anything. That human voice. Hitler had all of those followers, and not one time did he spank them. He might have threatened a few of them, but he was mostly motivating people with his voice. It's very powerful, super powerful. So, in fact, people, like I said earlier, they can determine within 7 seconds whether they want to make a conversation with you or not. Just from your face, just from your demeanor, just from the tone of your voice. When I mean demeanor, if you're slouchy and you're just like not sure and you're just like kind of whispering and you're just like, and mumbling and having all this kind of situation going on, nobody want to deal with that. If you start presenting yourself how you want others to see you and how you feel when you are happy or excited, people are going to be excited with you. That excitement is going to transpire. You can't get that online. You can't feel the excitement from somebody online. Nobody's going to be able to say, oh yeah, I felt that excitement. Like when I'm sitting up there typing somebody, yeah, I'm having excitement. I can put awesome, great, fantastic, whatever kind of excitable words, but they're not going to feel it because it's online. So, given the rise in digital data collection and capacity, you might think that offline marketing, brochures, business cards, roller banners, flyers, flag fired, all of that stuff is dead in the water, but you are so freaking wrong. To this day, the satellite company DirecTV still markets in the Walmart telling you, hey, this is what we got, what kind of service do you have? To this day, T-Mobile still has kiosks in the mall with representatives asking you what kind of service provider you have. To this day, Costco is still giving out samples, still having those people come out inside of their store with the venue and saying, hey, this is what this is what we have, and so on and so forth. So yeah, offline marketing is still very much alive, very, very, very much alive. So you definitely want to look into it. So there's this really cool infographic that I thought was cool. Yeah, don't mind all the millions of tabs. But there's this one spot right here that I kind of wanted you, and you can look at it. I have this link. This presentation will be available in the group, just so you know, you can look at it at your own time. So right here is why offline marketing is still effective. It kind of goes over like why it's effective, down to the number, down to the percentage. As you can see, you can't even see me pointing. Why am I pointing at my computer? Anyway, so with traditional offline marketing methods like direct mail, recipients are more likely to physically pick up on your information, read it, and have an actionable response. When you get a bill in the mail, it is more valid than when you get a bill in your email, right? Because you have that bill physically in your hand and you're like, dude, I need to pay this bill. But when it's in your email, it's like, I got time, online bill pay, blah, blah, blah. But when you have that bill in your hand, it's like, oh, okay, I need to get this done. When you have a flyer and a coupon and all of that stuff from the actual, company or wherever you're getting it from, it's more valid than if they sent you an email. It's like, okay, an email's dancing, got videos, and great, that's fantastic. But more people, and this is why companies still send you flyers. This is why you still get junk mail. This is why you still get mail. Because even though you have email and all these other digital and services, it cripples you to the point where it's like, this is what you're going to rely on. But meanwhile, offline, you still get bills in the mail, you still get advertisements in the mail, you still get junk mail, and you're more liable. Even though you may not admit it, you will take a look at that mail more than you'll actually pick up and look in your email, because looking in the email, you can already see the subject line. This is why email marketing is very tricky. But if you send out a letter, especially if the person doesn't know you, they're going to try to figure out what this is, because we're curious by nature. Boom, it's open. Now we got somebody looking at it regardless of what they're going to do with it, but it's the fact that you got those eyes on whatever you're doing. So offline marketing is so very still effective. Like, it's very still effective. You have businesses that spend their budget more on offline putting ads in the newspaper. Yes, because couponers still look in the newspaper as well. So you have people still sending stuff and demos and and stuff like that. So this really cool infographic is probably one of the best things, and this is where I actually got a lot of my data from, because like I said, I love to research. So you can kind of look on here and read, and it tells you all the sources and stuff like that, where they got all their information. But it's really dope. Like, I didn't, it's something that you don't really think about, because you're like, offline, man, why do I need that? I have Facebook, I have Instagram. If the power went out, like Facebook decided to just shut down just because it's Facebook and you don't own it, where would you go? Because Instagram is a part of Facebook, so that means Instagram will go. What if Twitter went? What if Pinterest went? What if all these other places that you're marketing online decided to shut down? What if your autoresponder company decided to go out of business? What if? So those are things you have to look at. Being a versatile marketer means that you're going to bring in more profits and more streams than you ever have, because now you're not just relying on that one source. Now, yes, multiple streams of income, fantastic. But if you only have one stream of marketing, you're going to be stuck, because now what if that stream of marketing left? See? So yes, very much still alive. Why use it is exactly why I just said it. That's why. So, what are some methods? Oh my freaking man. There is so many ways to do this. So many ways. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. There's so many ways to market online and actually, put your business and whatever you got going on in front of people. It's not even funny. Flyers, business cards, coupons, magnets. In fact, I have a list, and it's probably not even the healthiest list because there's so many, but I created a list, and like I said, this will be available for you to look at anytime. So 44 ways to market offline. Sample baggies, which is cool because you can put some candy in them or whatever. And on Halloween, because Halloween is coming up, drop you some business cards, drop you a really cool postcard or a really cool flyer, right on in there, put a coupon, whatever you got going on. Boom, give it off to the kiddies, because guess what? The parents, if they're good parents, I don't know. I always check my daughter's candy. parents are going to check the candy, or the little girl is going to be like, Mom, this is what I got in here. This is cool, blah, blah, blah. Especially if you make it colorful. You can even make it look like a coloring book so the kids can color on it, and then they'll show you, and then the parent will look at it, and they're like, hey, what's this, you know? So that's another thing you can do. Flyers, craft fairs, Chamber of Commerce. There's actually a lady who's in front of me. She's a real estate agent, and she's a part of the Chamber of Commerce. Welcome wagons, new mothers, donate product, job fairs, car dealerships, gyms, commercials, paper ads, banners, coupon packs, restaurants, vehicle signs, vehicle magnets, city maps. Woo! So many ways. It's not even funny. Like, it's just bananas. So definitely check out this fantastic thing that I put together. This bad boy took me about a month, because I was making sure I was getting the best information as possible for everybody, and stuff that actually worked, and some of the things that I did. Yeah, my favorite would be the like sports programs, because you know, like football and everything, you can put your ad for a business, which is like super dope cheap. There's a lot of free stuff in here that you can do, because I know when you started a business, you're just kind of coming out and you're like, dude, I don't have no money to do nothing. But you definitely want to look at everything that is going on offline, anything that you can think of. So, but what also is dope is that some of it can be face to face. So at the grocery store, the mall, arcade, auto body shop, traveling, anywhere. I mean, this 44 ways is not even, you know, the scratching of the surface. Like, there's millions of ways like to do this, and it's crazy. So yeah, you definitely want to take a look at offline. And I know a lot of people are like, man, offline, like, you know, I'm not sure. But no, offline is dope. So those are some ways. Like I said, I gave you a list of over 44 different ways. So, you know, take a look at it. And like I said, this is going to be live. This is going to be, you know, in the group, so you can actually look at it, and it's recorded, so you can definitely take a look. So how to effectively approach people. First of all, I'm going to say this as lightly and kindly as possible. Don't be creepy. Don't be stalkerish. Don't sit there and, you know, stare at them and look funny at them and so on. And like, we're not gonna do that. We're going to take the time and make eye contact, be observant, ask if you can, like, you're more likely to get somebody to be a little more interested in you is if you're interested in them. Some people are just self-centered, and they quite frankly don't care about people, and you know, of course that sucks. But you're more likely to get people interested in what you got going on because you helped them, because you were there, because, you know, you gave them some support. So they're like, okay, yeah, I'll support you if you support me, kind of situation. So helping them, like, when I say help them, I mean, you can like simply help them with the groceries. You can help them with a coupon or strike up a conversation, you know, things like that. And be observant, meaning, I guess how to say it would be like kind of nosy, like be kind of nosy, kind of eavesdropping, but again, don't be creepy. Because especially like, say for example, you're at a fair and you have, you know, there's like millions of people around, and you tone into like one conversation who's saying, oh yeah, I lost my job or whatever, and it's really hard for me to find something. Boom. Hey, you know, not to be nosy or anything, I kind of heard that you lost your job. Would you be interested in making some extra income? More than likely that person's going to say yes. Or you can just go to the indirect approach where it's like, hey, you know, I love your shoes. These look cool. La la la. Where'd you get them from? Oh yeah, that's great, man. That's great. I'm going to go over there and get them after I get my bonus. Oh, bonus. Boom. there's a conversation as well. What do you do? Blah, 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 blah. So you can strike up a conversation about it, or you can just kind of offer it. You can make a compliment. There's different ways to initiate and effectively approach somebody. And again, I'm going to like highlight this. Don't be creepy. Don't be forceful. Don't just like force your information. Don't wiggle your way in and try to get in there. Don't try to weasel in places you don't belong. If this person is really not interested in talking to you, let it go. You may have like the best opportunity in the world to you, because obviously you can make money in anything. Don't try to force or lock someone into a conversation. But don't give up at the same time. Just because that person is not interested, as I said before, you can never say the wrong thing to the right person. So don't give up, ever. So how to sell without selling. Simple. Keep it super duper extremely sensitive. I mean simple. I can't stress it enough. Don't over exaggerate. Don't try to make it seem like this is like the best thing since sliced bread, and if you don't join, you're going to be the dumbest person ever. Like, don't do that. It's gross. It's not attractive. It's not going to do anything for you but hurt you. Stay patient. Don't be desperate. If someone says no, don't be dumb. Stay calm and thank them. Somebody says, that's not something I'm looking for. Like, say, for example, back to the conversation with the lady, and you're like, well, would you be interested in making an extra income or whatever you say? And she says, no, I'm fine. Okay, well, great. Thank you. Bless your life. Continue on. Because 9 out of 10 times you might run into that, especially if she's from in the neighborhood, you might run into that same person again. And they're going to remember you being nice as opposed to you being all kinds of negative and saying that they're dumb and, are forceful into the conversation. So make sure the person is comfortable by staying confident, and looking them in the eye and just saying thank you, and just be appreciative of the fact that they took the time to even listen to you, because time is something that you cannot get back anyway. So try again. Like, try again. You got this. It's good. So, what the heck is form? When you're talking to someone, when you're really getting in a conversation, say this person is like super interested in what you got going on, you want to use form. Form is family, occupation, recreation, and message. You are simply delivering a message. You are just the messenger. You're not the whole situation. You're not the whole sandwich. The company is the sandwich. You're just handing them that sandwich. It's up to them to eat it. If they want to eat it and give it all out to the rest of their family, and then because of this delicious sandwich, now they can leave their job. Because of this delicious sandwich, they can take this sandwich to the beach and deliver it to other people because the sandwich is so delicious. That's how it works. That's what form is. Being open, approachable, interested in them. So family, these are questions that get someone to talk about themselves, because you always want them to talk about themselves. Never have it a one-sided conversation. Even if you miss parts of form, that's fine. Okay, great. You'll also learn more about the person. Of course, you don't want a one-sided conversation and, cold market prospecting. So be sure to share brief snippets of your prospects, especially if you share commonalities. So say, for example, I always approach people who have kids because I already know, boom, we're already going to have similarities. It's a lot easier for me to talk to. Because for me, I'm like introvert. I don't really like talking to people a lot sometimes, especially majority of the time, where I'm just like, no, I just want to be. But if it's a conversation, especially if for some reason a lot of people like to initiate conversations with me, and I open them and I embrace them. I love people. I don't mind. It's just sometimes I'm just like, But I usually approach, because I have children. I have a child, not children, but one. And, my daughter is like 12 going on 40. So I get everything under the sun with her. But usually when you're starting with family, you're always starting with not just kids, but also, like, say, for example, they have cousins, or they take care of their mom or their dad or whatever. So start with questions like, do you have kids? Do you live in a neighborhood? How old are your kids? Don't just bust out with like, hey, how old are your kids? Like, that's creepy. Again, don't be creepy, right? So say, for example, the same lady with the shoes, and that said that she needed extra money, she needed extra money, or she lost her job or something of that nature. And you directed to, because I'm going to get these shoes. And, my daughter, she grows out of shoes so much. Do you have kids? Oh, yeah, I got one myself. I know what you mean. Man, they grow out of shoes so fast. It's crazy. And then the fact that I lost my job, like, it's even harder for me to do that. See? Boom, she's talking about herself. I gave her a snip, bit of what I got going on. She's going to give more. I gave her that sandwich. She can take a bite. Now she's biting that sandwich. Now she's getting in there. She's getting those potatoes. How old are your kids? Oh man, I got a 6-month and I got a 12-year-old. One's her name is Emily, that's a 6-month, and the 12-year-old is Joseph, and they're awesome, but it's really hard. I don't know how I'm gonna do for Christmas. Occupation. Now she's talking. Now we're gonna go on to, oh yeah, cool. Christmas is coming fast. What is it that you do? What do you do for work? How long you been working there? This is where you're going to jump in and start talking about these things. This is your chance to talk about their job, what it's about, but really it's your chance to engage their income situation. She's already explaining the fact that, and this is going to be a common conversation for a lot of people because a lot of people are closing stores, a lot of businesses are closing stores, a lot of people are out of the work. There's more homeless people on the street than everything. There is a statistic that came out on CNN Money that 1 in 6 families is 1 paycheck away from losing their house. Yeah. But really, again, it's a time for you to engage in their situation. Also, when you ask someone what they do, they will usually ask what you do. Be sure you don't vomit all over the person with your business. Again, don't just, I do this. This is your chance to let them know in 30 seconds or less. So you come up with something that you say that's not like a pitch, but it's more natural and more believable. Don't sit there and say, oh yeah, I bless people's lives. I bless people's lives with financial situations and improving their household, improving their lifestyle by giving them these delicious shakes that taste like blah, 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 blah. Nah, homie, let's not do that. We're going to make sure that when you do approach somebody and they're asking about your occupation, that you keep it natural, that you keep it in 30 seconds, and this is not your time to pitch the business. Don't say the name of the business, don't anything. It's just a chance for you to share some benefits that you'll be able to help others with. Like when I was with It Works, our thing was I help people tighten, tone, and firm within 45 minutes. Now everybody's going to know what that is because back then I was out when It Works first started. So it wasn't very well known, and a lot of people were like, man, what do you mean? I help people tone. I get paid to help people get tone, tighten, and firm in 45 minutes. Just by me snipping this down, because I had this whole long thing that I used to say because it was my first time in network marketing, and I kid you not, I would sit there for like almost a minute just talking about It Works and what it does and all this money, and it's like, yeah, I made all this money with it, but that's not what they asked. They asked what I do, not how much money I made, not about the company. This is the time for you to talk about what you do, some of the benefits of your business. So again, you're going to ask them, well, what do you do for work? How long you been working there? What do you wish you can do instead? So she's already talked about she lost her job. So you're going to say in past tense, oh yeah, what did you do for work? Oh, I was a stock shipper at Amazon warehouse, and man, those hours were so long, like I just couldn't deal with that anymore, and they eventually let me go because they were downsizing. And you say, oh man, that sucks. How long you been working there? Oh, I've been working there for about 2 years, but it was really hard. I didn't get a chance to see my kids. I didn't get a chance to do anything. So I just out of curiosity, what would you do instead if you didn't have to work? Man, if I didn't have to work, I'll cruise around the world, I'll go and do this, or, whatever she feels that she wants to do. So this is your chance to kind of get in that occupation. This is also their chance to see that occupation was limiting them on doing whatever they said that they wanted to do. Whatever it is. If they felt like they wanted to dress up as the Easter Bunny all year round, then that's what they wanted to do. So, recreation, because after you talk about occupation, there's always the recreation, right? So, recreation, this is your great question to find out more about their disposable income. Ask a person what they do for fun or where they like to go for vacation. It's like probably the easiest things that you ever could do in your whole entire life. So you asked, what do you like to do for fun? If you had all the time in the world, what would you do? If you had all the money in the world, what would you do? How much would it take for you to do this? What would you, these are like general questions, what you can say. And it's not hard. It's, like I said, it's not hard at all. You're going to basically say, she's already talked about her recreation. She worked at Amazon. She was working there for 2 years. It was really hard. She didn't get a chance to see her kids. She has 2 kids, right? So we're memorizing this in our head. And mind you, this conversation is going to take approximately 2 freaking minutes, maybe 4, depending on how well you yuck it up. So now you're in the recreation and you're like, man, that sounds great. Like, what would you want to do? And she'll tell you like, man, I travel the world. So what do you like to do for fun now? I like to read books. I like to do this. And, I love to play with my kids. I love to take them to the park and have fun with them and watch them grow up. So that's her recreation. And for moms, it's probably one of the best recreations. For me, that's what I like to do. I like to play with my daughter. So recreation, you want to dig in and see what it is that they actually want to do. Now, this is the end of the conversation. This is the last bite of the sandwich. This is like the best part, because now you're going to deliver the message. Now, you're going to be the messenger and not the message. You're going to deliver it, but you're not going to sit there and say, everything, right? So at the end of the conversation, you want to deliver your message, right? The entire conversation while doing cold market prospect should take only a few minutes. This conversation should take no more than like 4 or 5 minutes. Using key things you learned in the conversation is important. Your parting message might be something like this. So now at this point, you should have gotten her name. And if you didn't get her name, shame on you, bad. So what do you say? This is where you take everything and you glue it together. So say, for example, her name is Katie. Hey, Katie, look, I really enjoyed talking with you. And, I can see that you really need something because you lost your job and you've been working there for 2 years. And the fact that after 2 years, you literally had no time with your kids. You have nothing that you can show for it. Like, you can't even go on vacation. Like, I understand that. And the fact that you having to put your kids in daycare and you want to spend time with them, I may have a way to help you, but I need to get going now to an appointment. But I'm free at 4 p.m. tomorrow. Give me your number and I'll call you, share you some information. Boom! Just like that. But again, you notice how I tailored it, because you're not a robot. You're a person. So you're going to want to form and customize and cultivate this conversation to adjust to your personality, right? So you can also say, give me your email. I wish to send you information. Blah, blah, got an appointment. You're good. Now you have an appointment. Now you have something that's going to stick. Now the fact that you went through family, occupation, recreation, you followed all of these tools up until now, you created a relationship with someone. You sat there, even though now, because when you talk about you have somewhere to go, which you generally don't want to stand there forever just talking to somebody, especially if you're out and about, because you might do actually have to go somewhere. You created a relationship where somebody's going to remember this because of the fact that now you listened to their story. You heard what they needed to, what they had, what they needed, what they want. You treated this person as a person. That is probably the biggest break point. A person is a person. They're not a business. They're not dollar signs. They're not money. They're not paper. They are people. They have feelings. They have things. They have obstacles. They have struggles. They have kids, emotions, everything just as you do. And a lot of times, because now we're in a digital age, that barrier is just blurred to where people are thinking of people as things and not as what they should be thought of, and that's people. So when you sit there and you take your time and you deliver form while you're offline, and again, this is only going to take a couple minutes. This is not going to take as long as for me to explain it to you. This is going to take about 2 or 3 minutes. If you're really good, about 2 minutes. If you have a sizzle call, 4 minutes. And I'll go over that as well. So this right here, boom. Now you solidified this appointment. And then you also want to say, hey, here, take down my phone number so you can call me as well and we can work something out. Now, notice There's no mention of what kind of business this is. Notice there's no mention of the name of the business. There's no extra stuff that needs to be involved about this business. You are literally just delivering that message. Now you can give them the information that you need to give them, however way, which we can go over, because now this is a whole different situation, because now they went from a cold to a warm prospect, because they went from, you don't know who Katie is, to, okay, I know Katie has 2 kids. I know that she's worked at Amazon for 2 years. I've known that she just got fired, and I know that she really wants to hang out with her kids, and she's been struggling. She has no money to go and travel the world and read her books that she wanted to do. I know Katie now has an issue that I can solve, and boom. Now, can you use this online? Sure as you hell can, and it'll probably be more effective for you to do this online if you use form. Problem with most people is that they're so quick to just, let me hurry up and get signups. It's not about a sign up. The numbers are in the conversations you have, the relationships you have. I'd rather spend 10 minutes with a person, giving them information, getting to know them, than have 10 signups, because of the fact that now I know who this person is. I know what they're going through. I know what's going on. Like, I generally care. When I ask somebody what's wrong, what's going on, I generally care. We're not robots, right? So this is my favorite method. And I know after I said that, you're like, man, you don't want to have fast signups? Like, okay, this is called fast food for a reason. Because now you're going to deliver the information instead of having them wait for your call and all that. Like, you still want to get their phone number. You still want to get their information. But now you have an opportunity, if you have extra minutes, to do fast food. And it's probably one of my favorite methods, because as I spoke of before, I'm an introvert. And it may not seem like it at all. And I've talked to a lot of you personally. I have like issues with just large crowds and talking to people and just going up and having conversations. I've always had this issue since I was little. It's not that I don't like people. It's not that I'm like, antisocial or anything. It's just, for me, I like quiet. I like peace. I like to be by myself. That's just, and how I have a family, I have no idea, but I got a family. But my man, he's understandable. My daughter's the same way. And most of the time we stay in different parts of the room, and we're just like, we're fine. And then when we want to, we're in the same room together. When we're in the same room together, we're separate still. So fast food is probably easy for people who are introvert and just kind of want to get to know the person and still want to do the same thing. But the difference is that now you're delivering it a lot faster and creating that relationship a lot better because you're delivering the information. So fast food. So you're going to use form, right? You're going to go through everything as you did before. So we're going to take the same scenario with Katie. Okay, we already know. So we're going to go through the same situation. And those of you who just joined, it's the same thing. Katie is, she was talking with her friend, and you just kind of came up and you made a comment on her shoes and talked about how nice her shoes are, her bag or her purse. I like to do that because I generally like purses. So I'm going to look at a purse and be like, hey, this purse is nice. Where you get this from? Anyway, so whatever you did to initiate this conversation, however you feel comfortable, you initiated the conversation, you solidified it by just showing an interest in her first, right? So form, keep good, posture, family, occupation, recreation, message, just become relatable. That's where it just comes to the nitty gritty. Once you go through all the rest, you can do fast food. And so this is where this whole conversation is literally going to take about roughly 2 minutes. So form, good posture would be I overheard you. You said you lost your job. You're looking for extra work. I might be able to help you. Now, you want to be excited after you tell them that and say, man, I can actually help you, and give you some time, but can I give you an extra 2 minutes of your life to give you this information? Now, depending on the demeanor of the person and the demeanor of you, this is how far, like, if you just get to this point where, I'm sorry, you cannot see me pointing. If you get to right here and they're like, no, then thank you, whatever. So it depends on the conversation. You can't always use fast food And also depends on you if you're comfortable using fast food. So keep calm and let them at ease know that you won't take much of their time. So say this whole conversation is going to be a little bit different. So this is where you give them the information. So at the end, after you do the whole spiel with form, family occupation A, and back at the other one where it said, Katie, I enjoy talking with you. I see that you really dislike your job. I'm having to put your kids in childcare, whatever the conversation is. So Katie, for her, she lost her job. She was working there for 2 years. She was at a warehouse. She has 2 kids. She wants to spend time with them. She wants to read books. She wants to travel the world. You weasel whatever the information is in there. But instead of saying, I need to go now to an appointment, you're going to say, I can give you the information now. Can I take an extra 2 minutes of your life? Now, this is where you're solidifying that the fact that you already took enough time. Can I take a little bit more time and give you this information? Now, after you've done form, you already solidified this conversation. They already got a snippet of you. They already given you a whole lot of them, because of the fact that you've given them comfort and you've given them that time that they probably needed. Sometimes it's really nice talking with a stranger about your problems, because you're not going to pass as much judgment as your family, right? Like most of the things, if you think about it, when you're talking to somebody and it's a stranger, you're going to give them more information than if you gave your husband, sometimes, depending on how well your relationship is, than your family, right? Because your husband, even though you've been together for how long, he's still not the people you grew up with. People you grew up with are going to cast more judgment than the people who you didn't. And even though it doesn't matter if you've been with them for 30 years, 40 years, you're going to confide in him more than your parents, than your sister, cousin, brother, whoever, no matter how close. It was just a psychology thing, and I can give you the source for that as well. Anyway, like I said, I research everything. So this is where you give them a sizzle call. A sizzle call, and a lot of people are like, what the hell is a sizzle call? Old school marketing, but it's the freaking business. It is a call where it gives them 1 to 2 minutes of this information. It does the selling for you. So at the end, it's just an informational call too. It cuts it out so you don't have to sit there and give your 30-second spiel, because instead of going here, right here for your occupation, you can skip this, and at the end, you're giving it right here. So now they have more time to listen to it. So skip that 30 seconds and boom, here it is. So the sizzle call can be like, thank you for listening, blah, 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 whatever your business is. And if you need a sizzle call, if you need a script for it, I'm pretty good at writing them. I'm not as good as I used to be. I haven't done a sizzle call. I have sizzle calls for 2 of my businesses, and they convert pretty well. So for a sizzle call, you're going to need a voicemail system. You're going to need an 800 number voicemail system, and it's just a pre-recorded message and everything. But make sure you always, no matter what you're doing with this conversation, make sure you say, hey, can I take your name and number? Because, just in case you want to hear something else or you want to hear more, whatever, get that information, get that phone number, get that email, get that going. And say you like to keep this conversation going regardless if they want to, join you in this venture or not. Boom, you have a lead. In short, that's what fast food is. I kind of, this looks different than what I put together, but essentially that is exactly what it is. Form, act decided, stabilize, and take information. Stabilizing meaning you're keeping them calm and at ease. You're solidifying the conversation, and recognizing their needs and saying, hey, do you have a couple minutes? So fast food, you can do. So single man, I didn't put none of this information in. Horrible, horrible, horrible me. We're going to skip that. But a fast food example would be, say, for example, you see a man and he has his daughter or whatever. You make a conversation about the daughter. And, and then if the conversation is good and they actually have some interest, then you can start doing fast food. Family, you already talked about his daughter. Occupation, hey, what is it that you do? Whatever, I'm doing this. Recreation, what is it you like to do for fun? Then the message. I heard that you kind of needed a job or you needed some extra money or whatever. Would you like to listen to this 2-second message that can, save your life or whatever, whatever kind of situation you put on that spin, and then boom, here it is. Now, another thing, like say, for example, if they say no, No, I don't have time to listen to it. No, I don't. Let me get off this page. Horrible. Say, for example, if they're like, no, I don't have time to listen to it, whatever. You already have a business card. Again, that's one of the 44 ways. You have a business card, flyer, whatever, with that information on it. Say, for example, you have a drop card, which is another thing, which is actually in the group. Drop cards are probably the most effective because they look like money, they have the information on there, and it's a sizzle call. And if you have a damn good sizzle call, you're good to go. That's pretty much what you need. So you want to make sure you keep it organized, and you basically want to make sure that you have a system in place. So a system would be something where you can use for offline and online marketing. I love this system. I've been using it for years. I've tried ClickFunnels. I tried lead capture pages. I tried capture pages funnels. I tried a whole lot of other stuff. And I've tried the one, I forgot what it's called, Phenomenal, whatever it's called, by Easy Cash Flow. I've tried a lot of them, and it's like, yeah, they have some good little situations in there, but if you really know how to do it, you don't need all those little situations. With this system that I use, it's pretty flawless because